Hello, fellow Ugandans, hello, Africans, hello, the world, hello, everybody. Welcome to Bikanchulika. This is Bikanchulika, the Ugandan apologist. Today, let's talk about the state of opposition politics in Uganda. My argument today is, or the take I'm having today is that opposition politics in 2022 is definitely bad news for Uganda. And I'm saying that I'm calling it NUP's performance arts versus real politics. Why am I using NUP? NUP, National Unity Platform. It is the epitome that symbolizes what bad politics is for Uganda today in 2022. But there are also other players that also are using the same kind of tactics. But here is 3 reasons why actually opposition politics is bad for Uganda at the moment. I'll share with you, leave your comments, leave your analysis. At the end of this, I'll appreciate that. And now let's dig into it. Now, the first reason why opposition politics is bad for Uganda is that if we are to, like I've said, we are using NUP as National Unity Platform as the epitome of an opposition party in Uganda in 2022. And basically what's happening is, the first reason is when you look at the way they're operating, for them it's just about pretending that politics is the same as performance arts. Basically, it's drama versus governance. In other words, instead of going into details of governance, instead of going into details of politics, they are definitely going into drama. They are going into performance arts. Now, performance arts, as we all know, it's stuff you get on the stage, it's stuff you get in movies, it's stuff you get it, drama. It's basically drama, and it has a place in society. It's kind of for helping us release our tension. It's kind of putting across some social issues that might be problematic or not problematic. But one common thread throughout performance arts, throughout drama, is that it takes reality and mixes it up with fiction. I mean, whoever is doing drama or writing drama or performing performance arts has the license to put in a lot of fantasy, Now, we all know, we all are aware as adults that this is simply drama. We enjoy it. We might even cry and shed tears if it's a sad story. But at the end of the day, we know this is just fantasy. This is not the real thing. Unfortunately, we are using opposition politics in Uganda. Currently, the state of opposition politics in Uganda is using drama and pretending that drama is the same as politics. Politics is about governance, and governance basically takes reason. We shall come to that actually later. But governance is about the ability to reason. Governance is about reality. Governance is about complex social issues. Drama, because it's about stories, it makes things look simple. It's more about if I do A, then B will happen. Very, very simple, straightforward path, one linear path. But social issues are quite complex. If you do A, B, C, D, E, and F might happen, but then the question is, how do you mitigate E from not happening? Maybe you want B to happen, but then C, D, E, and F are going to happen, but then what do you do to make sure that the others don't happen, but only what you want happen? So the first reason why opposition politics in 2022 is bad for Uganda is that, as I have said, the opposition is pretending that politics is performance arts. Just go up and offer fantasy ideas, and that's about it. Let's give one very simple example. When government of Uganda is taking on loans, government of Uganda currently is led by the National Resistance Movement, of course. So when the NRM-led government of Uganda takes on, say, loans from IMF or whatever, the opposition puts on a show of drama and goes to radio stations, on the floor of parliament, on social media, everywhere, and puts on a show and says, we are getting more money, we are getting loans, it is useless, it is taking us into debt, blah, 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 blah. But that is drama, that is, that is not governance. Real governance knows that actually taking on loans when and where necessary is part and part of governance. What these performance artists don't tell you, for example, when they shout that Uganda is taking on loans and that is bad for it, they don't tell you that, for example, the countries that they are talking about, that they say that Uganda should be like, countries like the UK, countries like Singapore, they do also take on loans. Did you know, for example, that in the 70s, under the Labour Party, the UK had issues with its money and had to take loans from the IMF. But when Uganda takes on loans from the IMF, you're going to get NUP and other opposition politics going on stage and acting out, making a real drama out of this thing. Did you know that Lee Kuan, the Prime Minister of Singapore, that so many opposition people in Uganda talk about as a great leader, he has said in his own words that at some point, even when Singapore started getting richer, he didn't want it to be elevated to that rich club, because in that case they wouldn't be able to get the loans they were getting at cheaper interest rates, at favorable interest rates. They wouldn't be able to get more loans. So Singapore, that our opposition politicians tell us is good example which Uganda should follow, they used loans. The UK, which they tell us is a good example to follow, they used loans. They still use loans. So this is basically what I'm saying. There is a difference between drama, which is fantasy, and governance. In drama, you just fantasize and say, oh, we don't have to get loans, for example, when in reality, governance dictates that there is a time and place for getting loans. So that is the reason why opposition politics is bad for Uganda. Because if you really go deep into it, this is being selfish, because you're not looking at real issues from a perspective of where you want to solve issues. You're looking at real issues from a perspective of just drama, being dramatic and getting attention to yourself in a selfish way. Now, the second reason why opposition politics is bad for Uganda in 2022 is because it promotes a victim mentality. NUP and other similar ideologies of the opposition are quite comfortable promoting a victim mentality. They promote Ugandans, they want Ugandans to have self-pity instead of taking up responsibility. I would summarize that thing and say it's more of this concept of government yetuyambe, government yetuyambe. I always tell a story. One time I was at one of the beaches in Uganda, and the young men and women, and they didn't have a toilet. And then they were like, government yetuyambe, and they seriously were calling out for government yetuyambe, for government to help them put up toilets. And then I asked them, I'm like, you guys, you're young, you're strong, you can get hose, you can get a BT or whatever, and dig your own pit latrines. You're fishing, you're getting good money, you can hire people to come and actually do the latrines for you. Why are you talking about government yetuyambe? Now, the NUP and other opposition parties are promoting that thing of government should be doing everything for you as an individual, for you as a Ugandan, which is a whole lot of nonsense, which is a whole lot of bullshit. This promotes self-pity instead of responsibility. But here is the thing. If you're telling people, if you're telling citizens that government is supposed to be doing everything for them, who is going to be doing the things for them anyway for government? Do you want foreigners to come here and do things for us? That is bullshit. I'm sorry to put it that way. So the second reason why opposition politics is bad for Uganda at the moment is because they promote self-pity among the citizens instead of promoting responsibility. They promote a victim mentality. They even promote it at the international stage, where they're crying out to Europe, they're crying out to Asia, they're crying out to the so-called superpowers of the world. Oh, you come and help us, you come and help us. We don't have rights here, we don't have to. You think those guys give a damn about you? Look here, whenever you approach somebody in a position of vulnerability, they're not going to do anything much for you. They're just going to exploit you. So Even other people have had problems, even other countries have had issues. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't be looking at whatever problems we have. We should be looking at the problems we have, yes. But you don't have to promote a victim mentality. You don't have to pity yourself and do nothing and wait for others to come and save you. You take the responsibility. Don't wait for government. Government is not going to do everything for you. You take the responsibility to do things for yourself. That is the second reason why opposition politics in Uganda today is bad for us. That is why it sucks. And finally, the third reason why opposition politics is bad today, as epitomized by NUP and other opposition parties of the same, that are cut from the same cloth, is they make reason equivalent to treason. In other words, they promote hatred instead of reason. When you're talking about issues of strategic national importance at any level, what these parties are doing is they are promoting hatred instead of reason. They don't want to reason. Whenever you bring evidence, whenever you try to be civil, whenever you try to be logical, they shut you down by feelings. They shut you down by bringing feelings into the playing field. They're like, you make me feel so bad. But you're like, okay, here are the facts, A, B, C, and D. Let's look at the facts. Let's not look at the feelings. What do the facts say? They don't want to listen to reason. And if you're talking about good governance, how are you going to make good governance without good decision making? You need to reason, superior reasoning, logical reasoning to make good governance issues. But what they've done instead is they're promoting hatred, they're promoting feelings instead of reasons. What I mean is, according to NUP and other opposition ideologies of the same cloth in Uganda, what makes you a good freedom fighter in Uganda today is if you hate the NRM, if you hate the government. The more you hate it, the more of a freedom fighter you do. But hatred has nothing to do with reason. Hatred has everything to do with emotion. Now, there is nothing wrong with emotion. We won't go into that. But there is emotion within normal limits. But hyper emotion that gets you up to the point of hatred, bro, sister, that is making you irrational, zero reason at all. And we are a poor country at the moment. We need to be as reasonable as much as we can so that we can make the best decisions for the country to move forward. But for you, if you're telling people that the more you hate someone, that makes you a better freedom fighter, you shouldn't listen to reason, man, that is nonsense. Let's take one very quick example. The example of the military budget. There is this thing of Uganda's military budget is very, very high. When you reason with these people and you're like, if you look at Kenya, if you look at the UK, the percentage of their budget which they give to the military budget is just about the same as Uganda's. So, but you find Uganda's opposition, they really love Kenya. It's a good country, it's doing well. They really love the UK, it's a good country, it's doing well. But when you tell them the military budgets, the proportion is the same as Uganda, they'll tell you, no, for you, you're a bad guy, you're one of the oppressors, blah, blah, blah. That is promoting hatred instead of promoting reason. And then they tell you they should be putting more money in agriculture. When you tell them that, look here, the basic tool of a soldier is an AK-47, and an AK-47 on average is going to cost you on average anywhere between 1.5 to 3 million Uganda shillings. But the average tool for the Ugandan farmer today is the hoe. A hoe at most is going to cost you about 50,000 bucks. Now, you see, that is big, which simply means that you're going to need far more money to spend with the military than you need with agriculture. If you're to use a tractor, an agriculture tractor, if the agriculture tractor, I don't remember the exact prices, but if you compare the agriculture tractor and you compare a military tank, if a tractor is costing 1 Uganda shilling, for example, a military tank is going to cost you about 10,000 Uganda shillings, which simply means that you need more money for the military than you do for agriculture, because the implements you use in agriculture are cheaper than the implements and tools you use in the military. But they'll tell you, when you give them that kind of reasoning, they'll tell you, for you you're an oppressor, for you you're a bad guy. You're not ashamed, you like injustice, you're a bad guy, and they start telling you all sorts of funny things, and they start hating you, and they are going into what is called cancel culture. If you're the forum, for example, WhatsApp forum, and there's some other person who is in charge of this thing and who is going via hatred, they'll just get you off the forum, which doesn't make reason. They're just promoting hatred instead of reason. So the third reason why opposition politics today in 2022 is bad for Uganda is that they make reason equivalent to treason. They don't want to reason. They only promote hatred, and that is not the way for us as Ugandans, as countrymen, to go forward. Now, the other question might be that, but Uganda government is maybe torturing opposition people or what? Yes, there are bits of torture. That is something we have to acknowledge, but it's not, like we've said before, social issues are complex. They are not simple linear stuff. They're complex things. Governments, individuals, societies, they have a multidimensional personality. You can't say that someone is 100% evil or someone is 100% bad. So, yes, there are things, there are bad things GOU and the NRM is doing, but there are also good things that GOU and the NRM is doing. But what the opposition wants to tell you is that NRM, GOU is 100% evil, which doesn't make sense. And for them, they are 100% angels. And actually, the quick thing here is they have made people from Western Uganda Satan. Yeah, anybody from Western Uganda is seen as those are the ones who are eating, which is nonsense, which is complete nonsense. You're promoting hatred against a people in Uganda from a certain region without any reasonable evidence, really, with zero reason. So that's what we are talking about. That is why opposition politics is bad for Uganda. And that is it for today. I hope it makes sense for you. And just to be quick, let me repeat the reasons why opposition politics is bad for Uganda is, number one, they pretend that politics is the same as performance arts. They go for drama instead of governance. They promote a victim mentality. They want you to self-pity yourself instead of being responsible. They make reason equivalent to treason. They promote hatred instead of reasoning and debate. And finally, one last thing, tying up all of these 3 points together, all of these 3 reasons together, what happens is that at the end of the day, NUP will never celebrate any progress made by the government of Uganda, by the NRM. Opposition politics parties in Uganda today are not going to celebrate any progress made by the NRM, by the government of Uganda. They never celebrate progress. Instead, they talk about how things were good in the past. They paint a rosy picture of the future when the oppressor is gone, and they problematize everything about the present. When it comes to the past, they idealize the past. They paint the past as, oh, it was good, it was very good. Amin was a good guy, Amin built this, Obotewan was a good guy, Obotewan built this. Yes, they did some good things, but they also did some bad things. It's not like it was all a bed of roses. It wasn't. But they always idealize the past. They make it look like, oh, the past, they were so good, they were so perfect. And when they talk about the future, they promise you a paradise in the future. They say, when we get in power, when we get into power, when the oppressor is gone, when we have chased the oppressor, every Ugandan will be rich, every Ugandan will live in a 5-bedroom apartment, every Ugandan will drive a Ferrari. That kind of nonsense. I was asking one of them the other day that, okay, look here, you get into power and you make every Ugandan rich. How about the gambling addict who is going to spend all their last money on gambling and lose it? How are you going to keep that kind of person rich? Are you going to put programs which babysit such people so that they don't waste their money? it doesn't make sense, yeah? And then the present, they demonize the present. There is nothing about the present which is good. I'll give a simple example. When it comes to housing in Uganda's police force, the opposition will always show you the mama ingia poles, and some structures which are not looking so good. Those structures exist, yes, that is true, but they will never show you the apartments that the government of Uganda is bringing up in Nakuru as part of the program to help its police force get better houses. They'll never bring that up, and they'll never show you that, this is a phased thing which is going to be spreading across. So they demonize everything about the present, which is a whole lot of nonsense. So in brief, to conclude, opposition politics in 2022 is bad news for Uganda. Reason number one is they pretend politics is performance arts. Reason number two, they promote a victim mentality. Reason number three, they don't want to reason. Reason is the same as treason, according to them. And because of these three reasons, they will never celebrate progress. They will never ever celebrate progress. They idealize the past, they promise a future paradise, they demonize the present, which is really quite stupid. When somebody's doing something good, give them the credit for it. It doesn't take much. That is all I had for you. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you.